Welcome to the Fun Astrology and Merriman Market Analyst Saturday Financial Podcast. I'm Thomas Miller. So glad you're joining us. This is the free weekly newsletter published every weekend by MMAcycles.com. Financial analyst Ray Merriman. And they are having a big investment conference next week, and you can join by Zoom, and I'm going to tell you how at the end. But we won't have a newsletter next weekend, so let's enjoy the one this weekend. And what a week it was indeed on several fronts, including and especially the markets. Here is Ray's review for this week. He says most major global stock indices ended their declines last week off the highs of August 31st to September 3rd as Uranus turned retrograde, an MMA 3-star geocosmic critical reversal period. The declines ended last Friday, September 6th for many markets, and September 9th through 11th for others. In Asia and the Pacific Rim, it was a tale of two worlds. India's Nifty soared to another all-time high on Thursday, September 12th. Australia's ASX came close on Friday, making a new all-time high, but then closed slightly short. Japan's Nikkei and Hong Kong Hang Seng indices both made weekly lows on Wednesday and then closed at weekly highs on Friday. The outlier was China, where the Shanghai Composite continued to plunge to another new cycle low and is now close to its low of the year, which was 2635 on February 5th. China's stock market is out of step with the rest of the world right now. In Europe, all markets except the AEX bottomed on Wednesday, September 11th, and then rallied to new weekly highs on Friday. The AEX bottomed the week before on September 6th, but like the others, it too rallied smartly into Friday, September 13th. In the United States, the pattern was similar. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P rallied smartly from a low on Wednesday, and along with the NASDAQ, all made new weekly highs on Friday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P came close to new all-time highs, but then pulled back into the close, still up strongly on the day, which bodes well for next week. In other markets, gold and silver had strong rallies last week, with gold blasting up to another new all-time high on Friday. I'm just going to add an aside here. The Merriman Market Analyst app that is available on the iPhone, oh my, it picked it beautifully. Signaled a reversal at the beginning of the week, and so it was. Here we are at all-time highs. Good job, guys. It's an amazing app. If you have an iPhone, you can check it out. Go to the website MMAcycles.com for more information. Continuing here now, Bitcoin also did very well, following a secondary low last weekend at 52,511, enough to create the right shoulder of an inverted head and shoulders pattern, with the head, the lowest price, holding at 49,445 on August 6th. At the same time, Ethereum took out its low of August 5th, so this creates an intermarket bullish divergence. The neckline is around 61,000, so a close above there begins to look very positive, and above 65,000 will create a bullish pattern of higher highs and higher lows at the trading cycle level. But it's more than that. It would strongly suggest that August 5th was the primary and 24-month cycle low, setting the stage for a run to a new all-time high. Crude oil also ended the week well, after dropping to $65.27 on September 10th, its lowest level since May of 2023. It rallied back to above $70 intraday on Friday. All of these markets will be discussed in the long-term investment view at the MMA Investment Retreat next weekend, and many are entering the time band for their long-term cycles. There is still time to sign up for the Zoom version, which includes recordings of the presentations by the next day, and I'll point to that information at the conclusion of the newsletter. Now the short-term geocosmics. First of all, an article from Fox Business on Friday. More than 500 business groups across the United States are calling on Congress and the next administration to keep former President Trump's tax cuts in place, warning that allowing them to expire at the end of next year would amount to, quote, the largest tax increase in American history, end quote. Harris has vowed to reverse the Trump-era cuts and is proposing to raise the rate that major businesses pay from 21% to 28%. At the same time, the Democratic nominee seeks to increase the federal government's small business tax deduction by tenfold, from $5,000 to $50,000. This now from CNBC.com on September 12th on Thursday. Quoting Donald Trump here, polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate, Trump wrote. Multiple post-debate polls actually show audiences by a sizable margin believe Harris won. End quote of that article. And then this from the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday. This is from Karl Rove, article entitled A Catastrophic Debate for Trump. Tuesday's debate, he says, between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump was a train wreck for him, far worse than anything Team Trump could have imagined. It matters how debating candidates carry themselves. There, it was no contest. Ms. Harris came across as calm, confident, strong, and focused on the future. Mr. Trump came across as hot, angry, and fixated on the past, especially his own. Many undecided and swing voters will make up their minds less on any single issue than on their visceral reactions to the candidates. Ms. Harris did herself much good with that crowd Tuesday. Mr. Trump didn't. End quote. Now Ray's commentary, he says, in the debate that I saw, she smoked him. Whether this will translate into a November victory remains to be seen. But I think it moved the needle in her favor in what I judge, by the several geocosmic and cyclical signatures, to be a close election. In the correlations between past presidential elections and this one, plus my own analysis of their personal charts and that of the United States, it's a mixed bag. Some studies clearly show Trump and the Republicans winning, while others show Harris and the Democrats retaining control of the White House. So, I think it will depend more on which of these studies stand out in terms of where the dominant collective attention is between now and November 5th. Will it be on the economy, border controls, immigration, national and domestic security, abortion, character, the path forward, as Peggy Noonan wrote in last week's quote? I'll share my forecast during a Zoom webinar workshop on the afternoon of October 12th, sponsored by the Tucson Guild of Astrologers, to be announced shortly. We are in the midst of another geocosmic critical reversal zone right now, though not as powerful as the one of August 31st through September 3rd, when Venus went retrograde and Pluto moved back into Capricorn, until November 19th. In the middle of this zone is Venus trine Jupiter on Sunday, September 15th. This is followed by a powerful but peculiar lunar eclipse on Tuesday, September 17th. It's peculiar because it conjuncts Neptune in late Pisces. With Neptune and Pisces, there can be inclement weather conditions, particularly heavy rainfalls and floods that may threaten lives or crops. It is harvest season. It can also pertain to rumor-mongering and devious efforts to undermine, even harm, the reputation of others. Neptune can be a very spiritual impetus and a desire to transcend discord, but it can also be guilty of misleading others through false rumors and innuendo. In this part of the election cycle, one wonders what sensational revelations will be alleged or revealed against one or both of the candidates. As traders and investors, markets may react to these Neptunian rumors and propaganda. This cosmic influence is in effect through the following Monday, September 23rd, and the Sun will be in opposition to Neptune then, trine Pluto, and at the same time, Venus, of money and love, will be square Pluto. The day after, September 23rd, Venus will enter Scorpio, its detriment. As Pluto rules Scorpio and is in square aspect with Venus, this may become an intense period for financial markets, especially currencies and grains. Neptune is often coincident with bouts of irrational exuberance, driving equity prices up to new highs. But it can also lead to hysteria, too, if prices start to suddenly decline. Neptune and Pisces have an association to crude oil as well. So this is one market we'll watch closely this week. Indirectly, that can also coincide with shifts in interest rate markets, which is expected anyway as the Fed is due to lower their bank lending rate. Will this create a bump up, followed by a sharp turn down in stock markets? It can't be ruled out because we still cannot confirm the low of August 5th as a 50-week cycle trough. If not, it could happen at the end of this primary cycle with a 16 to 26% decline by February, and ideally before December. If it was the 50-week cycle trough, then stocks can go higher before an even greater decline later next year. And that concludes the newsletter part, but I would like to tell you about this investment retreat that is coming up next weekend, because Ray says this gathering will be very special for those looking to make long-term investments, where real wealth can be built with patience. It's not like trading, where you need to manage your risks with stop losses. In a long-term model, we have steps to scale into each investment, both on the way down and on the way up. These investment steps are based on our proprietary market timing methods, combined with our understanding of price objective calculations within the overlap of cyclical market and geocosmic time bands based on actual historical data. And that right there has been the basis of Ray Merriman's work since the 1970s. The 2024 MMA Investment Retreat is taking place online as well as live at the Rickley Balance Hotel in the Julian Alps region of beautiful Lake Bled, Slovenia. There's full information on the website at MMAcycles.com, especially in the announcements section of this week's newsletter. And around here, we have another event coming up live on Sunday night. We're returning to our Level Up meditation. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Fun Astrology YouTube channel. That's the best way to find it. So if you'd like to join us for that or watch the replay, we would love to have you do that as well. We're going to be focusing on prosperity through the lens of the incomparable Catherine Ponder. Thanks so much for listening to this. We'll see you back on Monday. We have a busy week ahead, including the eclipse on Tuesday. So we'll see you back then. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.